All right, if you got one of these 2014 through 2018 Super Duty, be a F250, F350, 4x vehicle with the straight front axle, and you have a condition where you have the death wobble, basically go over a bump or at a certain speed, start to get a wobble in the steering wheel that doesn't go away unless you basically slow down and pull to the side of the road. I got a video for you. You're watching Car Doctor channel. So real quick, death wobble, basically steering wheel's just shaking, and it can result in a loss of control of the vehicle. A lot of times it will occur and then doesn't go away until you slow down or whatnot. In this particular case, you hit a bump around 30 plus miles an hour, really starts shaking uncontrollably. And, this affects a lot of different vehicles. This one in particular has a common problem, but you always want to make sure your steering and suspension components are tight, and there isn't a problem there. So the first step is basically shake down the front end, check your upper and lower ball joints, your tie rod ends, take a close look at your tires, and in this case, they're about worn out. And then also on this vehicle, there is a steering stabilizer, the steering shock absorber here. See if we can see it here, right there. That dampens the steering and can if it's blown out, it can definitely be a cause of concern. However, in this case, steering stabilizer's new. Obviously, there's been some parts thrown at this thing, and so far unsuccessful in resolving the issue. And which brings me to the common issue affecting these vehicles that you want to look for. And basically, this track bar connects over here at the frame. See if you can see it here. And then comes down to basically a ball joint on the right side of the straight axle assembly. And right there, it allows it to pivot, but you want to check and take a close look at that joint there. I always use a pair of channel locks in this case, and we're not looking for a whole lot of movement. It's got to be a real tight fit. There's a lot of force at play here because the track bar is actually keeping the axle from moving side to side. And basically, by taking a pair of channel locks and squeezing here, you should have no lateral movement, no up-down movement. And as you can see here, we've got enough. You can hear this joint as you're going over small bumps in the road. You can hear a clatter or a light rattle. That's where it's coming from, right out of that little ball joint there. And it's replaceable. It's serviceable just like a suspension steering knuckle ball joint over here. And it presses into this area of the axle housing. So we're going to pop one in there real quick. I am using a Moog part in this case. It's an improved design, it's easier to install. But basically just going to require dropping that track bar down and popping the ball joint out and pressing a new one in with our ball joint press. Should be pretty quick and easy here. We'll get this thing resolved. So of course I have this vehicle up on my 4-post hoist. If you do lift the vehicle, make sure you use safe lifting practices. You don't want one of these F350s landing on your head. That would hurt. But anyway, we're going to take this ball joint stud nut out. And then we're going to pop this off of here. I'll probably use a pickle fork, rattle on this a little bit with an air tool, and we know how most of the listeners, or viewers I should say, like to hear the sound of impact tools in use. Go ahead and try to knock this off of here. And there's other ways to get it off. You can just beat on it. Don't damage your track bar. Now that my pickle fork is stuck on there, try to get that off. Okay, I'm going to use a C-clamp style ball joint press and adapter to press the ball joint out. Hopefully it cooperates. But the larger one up top here to receive the joint. And let's see, some type of adapter. Let's see what we can rig up here. I don't know if you could see it when I removed this, but the whole axle moved about, well, a couple inches over to the right. Just goes to show you how critical this part is. It's holding everything in place. At least, you know, the side-to-side movement of the axle shaft or axle housing. So we got to pry it back over. Okay, now we tighten it to 184 foot-pounds. And then align the cotter pin hole, which is aligned, and install our cotter pin. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and lube that joint. And call it good. All right, I had to take it on a test drive. The camera, I wasn't able to bring it along. Batteries kept running out, but successful repair. It still needs a set of tires on it and probably an alignment. It just feels a little bit off, but noticeable improvement. So that's something to look for. Hopefully this video has been helpful, and do appreciate you watching. Catch you next time. Take care.